Welcome to my 2023 garden. Well, almost. I've still got a few finishing touches that I'm going to need assistance from my husband. He's got to make me trellises.
What are we not good for? That's your fault. Hey, don't ever underestimate manpower.
It looks good. We've been staking it to get the rows straight. I'm going to start off with like 3 rows. First thing we're planting is corn, because they have to pollinate with each other. You have to plant them in bunches. I just gotta have a little bit of clips of what we're doing. Look, I gotta show details. Good morning. Hello, look at where I am. It is planting day. They came over the weekend and turned it and tilled it. After he turned it and tilled it, my husband came out here and tried to level it out because we had like some high spots in the middle. And yesterday we went ahead and planted the rows of corn and got it fenced in. We're going to try to make it as easy as possible to till in between the rows. So we're going to try to do everything vertical and the rows be 2 feet apart. Got these cow panels. They're 16 feet long and I think around 50 inches wide. So we are going to try to make a couple of arches for our melons and pumpkin. And we've also got a smaller cow panel. I think that's around 8 feet long, maybe a little bit shorter in width. We're going to use that to trellis stuff like cucumbers, pole beans, peas, maybe some indeterminate tomatoes. I'm not sure how much I'm going to get done today because we're still not exactly sure how wide the trellises are going to be. So I'm going to try to plant as much as I can. I do know that I'm going to put it probably around in this area, the back left corner. I'm really nervous about going ahead and transplanting my tomato and pepper plants because tonight The low's 34. And I know that they don't like really, they don't like colder temperatures. But at this point, I'm not really sure it's going to make a difference because my tomatoes have been severely stunted. I've never had that issue. So I thought maybe it had to do with they weren't getting enough light. So I brought them outside when we finally had our warm days, and they stayed out there, and they just still, they were yellow, they wouldn't grow in. They just looked very unhealthy. So I got to researching, and I got to checking out the soil that I had bought. And the soil I planted the seeds in was a different kind of soil. It was like a potting soil or something. I can't remember what kind. But they germinated well, didn't have any issues. But then when I transplanted them into this other stuff I got, it was Compost Miracle-Gro for raised beds and in-ground gardening with soil. It said it had soil in it too. Well, I got on there, I got to reading reviews. From what I have gathered, it just had a lot more compost in it. Like it was a lot of wood, very woody. And although wood chips are good for your garden, when they're breaking down, they'll suck all the nitrogen out. But then they'll give it back once, they give it back to the soil. But as they're in your soil, they will just take every bit of the nitrogen. And that was probably my mistake, because I guess I should have paid more attention and mixed in some kind of potting soil with the compost, because it just didn't have enough soil in it. Therefore, the plants suffered. So what I started doing is I got some different soil, and I just topped it over the top of my tomatoes, because with tomatoes you can just keep burying their stem, and their stem will just grow more and more roots and get thicker and stronger. So I just kept topping them with soil, and then they started coming back. But still, I don't know, it's probably going to be a later harvest season this year, but that's okay as long as they don't all die on me. It's a trial and error every year when you garden. Hopefully we can get a lot accomplished today. I can get some things planted, because we have 4 days of rain, so we definitely need to get this stuff in the ground before then, because rain is great germination for all the seeds. So let's get started. I don't know if you just saw that, but our neighbor's dog just chased a fox, a red fox. Of course, I had to tell him good job, because that fox is a danger to our chickens. But I have never seen them during the day. Okay, so I've marked off the first or second row. Now I'm going to rake a mound under the string, so I'll have a guide of where to plant my seeds as well. And I've got the row staked off, mounded. So now I'm going to plant my okra. I've got 2 different kinds of okra. Bowling Red from Baker Creek, and then this is just some regular okra. Clemson. This is just a seed packet that I've had. I think this is what I planted last year or so. It usually tells on the back of the packet how far you have to space them. So 18 inches is what it says on the okra. So I'm going to space them every 18 inches. Says you can plant 2 in each one, but then if both of them come up, of course you have to thin it out and put it somewhere else. I'm just going to plant 1 in each one, and I'll just replant if it doesn't work out. But there they are. I figured it'd be cool to have some color. So let's get to planting. Oh, and I also have got these tags that I wrote on, so I kind of know where they are until they at least come up. I'm gonna mark them. I'm not planting a whole row of okra this year because we had like 10 plants and had plenty of okra. And also this row is where the back end, the trellis is where we're gonna start it in the back. So I need to make room for the melons and the pumpkin as well. Took me a few. I was trying to decide what I was going to plant in between the okra and the trellis. I had an idea I was going to plant some kind of flowers, but I wasn't sure which ones. So I came to a conclusion that I'm going to do different types of sunflowers. I did plant a marigold right after the okra because I like to just kind of spread marigolds out all throughout my garden. Last year I didn't really get but like 2 sunflowers, and I don't know if it was because they were like close to the tree line and they didn't get enough sun, but I decided instead to do my corn where the sunflowers were, and then on the next row or somewhere in the middle, in the back, like in the middle of one of the back rows, do some sunflowers because they get really tall. I've got some sunflowers that I started from seed, and it's about 5 now. Starting to come together. I've once again swapped it up, my garden plan, but I think I've got it figured out now. My tomatoes laid out to plant in my tomato cages. And then right here is going to be my indeterminate tomatoes that climb. I may have to put them off till I get the trellis up. And then my next row right here is going to be peppers. I've planted some flowers in the middle. Some zinnias, some cosmo, sunflowers, snapdragons. I've also planted some basil and marigolds. My 5th row. And I'm not sure what I'm going to plant right here in front of the peppers. I haven't decided yet. On down I'm gonna plant cucumbers and peas. I'm running out of daylight time, so I worked till dark last night. The rain's coming, so I worked on it all day yesterday, the day before we planted corn. I'm actually gonna finish up planting green beans. Are you ready to plant beans? These are just the bush beans. And there it is. Beans are planted. Just in time for the rain. This is the trellis that the watermelons and cantaloupe and pumpkins are going to grow up. I'm pretty excited to see how that works. I do not have anything planted in these 2 rows under the tunnel. I thought about maybe doing some lettuce. This is my peas. Those were peas I started in February, just some pea starts I had, some extra. This is where we need to put a trellis. And then the cucumbers need a trellis too. These are broccoli. I haven't really had a whole lot of luck with the broccoli. When it gets hot, I'm trying again because my daughter loves broccoli. There's my tomatoes. These are tomatoes that trellis. They're indeterminate tomatoes. That's why we have this. Because indeterminate tomatoes will just keep producing and keep growing. And they'll grow as tall as you let them. Or as tall as the sun allows them to. And they'll climb up this trellis. They look like they're doing pretty good. These in the cages are determinate tomatoes. And they're like, determinate means they will only grow to a certain amount and only produce a certain amount of fruit. So that's the difference. But there's just one marigold that I had in one of my pots that I transferred over here. It's a snow white marigold. These are cosmos. I planted Zenna and cosmos down here. Those will be really pretty to pick in the summer. And then the row with all the mounds, that is my zucchini and squash. It's good to plant zucchini and squash in mounds because when they grow, they'll grow like up and they don't climb, they kind of grow in bushes. So sometimes people put tomato cages over them so they'll grow over it, so they'll hang over so the fruit's not touching the ground. And then the last row that I just got done planting is all my beans, all the way down. All in the middle of my garden. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, these 3 rows. They are all flowers that I just put in there to help with pollination and also to pick. They'll get so pretty. I can't wait to see them. I loved my zinnia last year. It is officially 2023 garden season. We have gotten everything planted. Still have like enough room to do 2 more rows. And I still don't know what I'm gonna plant. I haven't decided. If y'all have any ideas, please comment what you think I should plant. So I've got a little bit of everything. But yeah, we got our trellises up. That one right there. And there's one more we gotta put up for the cucumbers, but we just gotta go get the stuff to get it. If y'all have any tips or tricks on how to grow anything, just let me know in the comments below. I hope y'all have a great day. Happy gardening. Plant some seeds. Just plant them. Just do it.